Now joined by General Industries Workers Union of South Africa President Mametlwe Sebei. Mr. Sebei, thank you so much for your time and for joining us this evening. Now, you have penned a piece titled "Cabinet Makes a Treacherous U-Turn on Israeli Tie," and in it you go on to express that the executive wing of government has rebuked the democratic legislature in a most insulting way. Can you unpack this for us?
Yes, I mean, you would recall that on the 21st of November, the democratically elected, legislature in this country, in parliament, voted with a crushing majority to denounce the actions of Israel, to call for a cutting of diplomatic ties between the South African state and, of course, Taiwan. Despite that, we have seen that government has actually backtracked. On the 29th of November, suddenly, the Minister of International Relations says to us, well, cutting the diplomatic ties is going to be counterproductive. The cabinet has subsequently taken a decision that they are not going to be cutting those particular ties. And the reasoning that they are using is exactly the reason that was rejected by an overwhelming majority of the parliament, which were advanced by the right wing. The DA, the Freedom Front, and the like actually supported them. So we do think that this is a denouncement and a denouncement and insult on the very reasoning that was actually advanced in that parliament by the public elected representatives in this country. And we do think that this because we shouldn't mince our words about it. Even on the eve of the vote in parliament, the ANC were by no means committed. In actual fact, they take or made a U-turn and decided to vote for the motion put forward by the EFF because of an overwhelming public appeal by enormous levels of mobilizations that we have seen across the country. In the Zoo Lake, in Johannesburg, thousands of people came to demonstrate. But also in Cape Town, where it is estimated that over 100,000 people actually were on that demonstration, and many in all the major cities across the country, but also across the political spectrum of our society, from trade union, communities, and of course, young people in campuses taking up to the street to protest. It is that pressure which brought the ANC to make a U-turn, but it is clear that in Parliament, their decision to vote for that motion was, of course, only a posturing without intention of implementing at cabinet level.
But I mean, Mr. Sebei, you make mention of our international relations minister, and she has been championing for the case of genocide charges against Israel's political and military leadership. I mean, she's been at the forefront of the championing of the voice of those charges being laid. I mean, are you then saying that in what they say, in what we see, and in what they do are completely different actions?
And that is not only limited. That's exactly what I'm saying. And that is not only limited to what they are doing in relation to the issue of Palestine. They are doing exactly that in relation to every major issue facing the working class in this country and internationally. We will remember that this is a party that in each and every election it goes with promises about how it will improve the livelihoods of the black working class majority. Come in parliament or come elections or after elections, they are not in any way prepared to tamper with the monopoly over the wealth of this country on the part of monopoly capitalism. And that's what they are. That's the reason they can't deliver on their promises. And we are saying is, or rather, the foreign policy of any government, in the final analysis, is an application of the domestic policy of that government on the international plane. And what we are seeing here, it is a party which is committed to global capitalism and to monopoly capitalism and its interest in this country. And these interests are entangled and, of course, inserted in the Western imperialism, in the Zionism, that as part of the worldwide imperialist system that Israel, United States, and their allies in the West, are a dominant faction of. And it is for this reason that they are incapable of taking decisive steps but only treating us to gestures that are meaningless. Let's be clear about it. International Criminal Court is controlled by the Western imperialism. They have never charged, prosecuted, and sentenced any leader who is aligned with the Western imperialism. They know that there will be no meaningful consequences that flow from that particular action. The action that will have a real meaning is them cutting ties with Israel, is them ensuring that those that are responsible for supporting Israel, including, by the way, the mercenaries, the Zionist mercenaries who are part of the Israeli Defense Force that is carrying out the genocide, who resides in this country. Those people should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law for their participation in the genocide. More than that, they are increasing they are deepening the economic ties between Israel and South Africa. And we have seen them allowing Israeli companies, including those that are operating in Jewish settlements on Palestinian land, like Mametlwe took over, operating and of taking over South African companies. That, we say, is a treachery, is a betrayal, and a situation where we are faced with the Jews, where over 15,000 Palestinians have lost their lives, where hundreds of thousands have been, have been maimed, where over 1.5 million people have been displaced. In this situation, the conduct of the government, of the ANC government and the cabinet is treasonous, in actual fact, from where we're standing.
Right, Mr. Sebei, thank you so much. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this very, very important conversation this evening. Thank you so much for joining us. That's General Industries Workers Union of South Africa President, Mr. Mametlwe Sebei.